We've been talking about stablecoins all year, and for good reason. Big moves are happening, and we're way past the what if phase when it comes to their role in the US and global monetary systems. It's no longer speculation. The US government is fully on board with stablecoins, which is sparking other nations to follow suit. Here's a mind blowing stat: stablecoins now make up 1.2% of the global M2 money supply. And this is just the beginning. Even JP Morgan, the world's largest bank, is jumping in with tokenized deposits, essentially their own version of a stablecoin. It's wild to think about how much the stablecoin market has evolved in just the last 7 months. And here's another big update. Stablecoins now make up a staggering 74.6% of institutional crypto trades. USDC had an incredible year with a massive 29x growth in volume compared to last year. According to Executive Director Bo Hines, the crypto industry could skyrocket to 15-20 trillion once stablecoin legislation gets the green light. Here are some key highlights. OTC spot trading volume jumped 121% year over year. Stablecoin transactions now make up 75% of all trades, up from 46% in early 2024. The number of transactions grew by an impressive 154% year over year. Stablecoins are becoming a really big deal, and they're only getting bigger. If you're into crypto, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. Why? Because this growth has a huge impact on the network supporting these stablecoins. As more stablecoins are issued on these networks, their value and importance are likely to grow too. Plus, it's clear that crypto as a whole is starting to play a serious role in the global financial system. Something we've been speculating about for years is finally becoming reality, and it's pretty exciting to see it unfold. On top of that, let's take a look at this metric. The stablecoin market hit a new all-time high in June, growing by 1.58%. That's 21 straight months of growth, solidifying stablecoins as one of the most reliable sectors in crypto. It's no surprise they're being adopted worldwide, and we're seeing major moves from institutional players and even governments to push stablecoin adoption in a big way. Here's another interesting insight. Sergey, the co-founder of Chainlink, recently said that stablecoins could actually surpass the total market cap of crypto in just 2-3 years. He predicts that real-world assets, RWAS, will soon outnumber native crypto assets, completely reshaping the industry. This shift could lead to massive financial growth, with regulation playing a key role in making it all happen. There are two exciting opportunities right now for crypto developers. First, on the buy side of payments, there's a chance to make stablecoins work reliably at scale. Second, asset issuance, creating tokenized products that offer solid risk and return potential. This aligns perfectly with what Bo Hines has been saying about the massive potential in this space. Think 15-20 trillion once stablecoin legislation is passed. Stablecoin laws are going to be a game changer, not just for crypto, but for the traditional financial sector too. This could set stablecoins on track to becoming one of the biggest parts of the crypto world. All right, let's break this down. What's the big picture here? First off, David Sachs has a plan. He's aiming to introduce the bill before the August recess, get it marked up in the first week of September, and wrap it all up by the end of September. That's his timeline for both the market structure and the stablecoin bill. Now, why does this matter? If all goes as planned, we could see clarity for the entire crypto market and have stablecoin legislation finalized by the end of September. That's just 2 months away. This could be huge for the market, opening things up in a really exciting way. July is shaping up to be a huge month. There's a bill signing headed to the Senate that could bring clarity to the crypto space. We're running out of time to experience the unregulated side of crypto, but once regulations come into play, I truly believe we're going to see massive growth, bigger than we ever imagined. This is where the real potential kicks in, with adoption scaling at lightning speed. Mass adoption is closer than we think, and it all starts with solid legislation. What's exciting is that even the Fed has acknowledged stablecoins as a positive step forward, confirming that a regulatory framework is in the works. Now just picture real-time cross-border settlements operating under that framework. That's where XRP shines. Utility, compliance, and speed all rolled into one. It's an exciting time for the crypto world. Take a look and see for yourself.
Let me say on stablecoins, if I can.
Yeah.
I do share the concerns that you hear here, but I also think it's a positive step that we don't have a regulatory framework for these now in the United States. We tried very hard in the last Congress to work with people on both sides of the aisle to create such a thing. Now it looks like we're well on the way to creating a framework, which I think is something we need if we're going to have stablecoins, and apparently we are, we need to have a federal and state level regulatory framework, which I think we're making progress towards having.
Even the Fed knows big changes are coming. Legislation is on the way, and it's about to open the floodgates for stablecoins. When it comes to stablecoins, one name that's really catching my attention is RLUSD. It's growing faster than most other stablecoins out there. While the growth of the top 10 stablecoins by market cap has been pretty stagnant, RLUSD has shot up by an incredible 51% in just the last 30 days. And that's not all. Monthly transfer volume has jumped by a massive 89%. Those numbers are seriously impressive. Huge shout out to Anderson for bringing this to light. I've been keeping a close eye on RLUSD, and I've got to say, it's one to watch. Let's talk about what's happening with Ripple and RLUSD, because honestly, they're making some serious moves right now. These changes could help RLUSD grow quickly and maybe even compete with big players like USDC and Tether. Now, it's not going to happen overnight or even this year, but I truly believe RLUSD has the potential to become one of the biggest stablecoins out there. Keep in mind, RLUSD only launched in December, and in just 7 months, it's gone from 0 to over 400 million in market cap. Actually, it's closer to 470 million now. Plus, the number of holders and the monthly transfer volume are climbing fast. All this growth is happening because of the big moves Ripple is making with RLUSD. And here's the exciting part. RLUSD is being minted like crazy. We recently saw 16 million minted, followed by 14 million, and then another 14.5 million. Here's something interesting to think about. 44.5 million RLUSD was minted in just a few days. Yep, from June 27th to July 3rd. And this surge is tied to all the exciting moves happening around RLUSD right now. We'll dive into that in a second, but I also want to highlight something else. The stablecoin battle is really heating up. Other nations are keeping a close eye on what's happening in the US. For example, China's big tech players like Alibaba's Ant Group are pushing their central bank to authorize yuan-based stablecoins to compete with the growing dominance of USD-backed ones. We're about to see the stablecoin war really heat up, and that's only going to make stablecoins an even bigger part of the global monetary system. Why? Because as countries and companies race to establish a dominant stablecoin and move away from reliance on the US dollar, it's worth remembering that stablecoins can be tied to any fiat currency. Imagine this. Nations start approving stablecoins in their own currencies, and companies like Ant Group adopt stablecoins linked to currencies like the yuan. That'll supercharge the stablecoin competition. It means more value and volume being moved on chain, which will boost the networks powering these stablecoins. This is huge for the market. It shows that stablecoins are becoming essential for moving value around the world. The more value exchanged on these networks, the stronger the market grows. This is all about creating a much bigger network effect, not fueled by hype or meme coins, but by real world utility and actual value being moved 24/7, 365 days a year. That's a game changer worth paying attention to. Speaking of big moves, let's talk about everything happening with RLUSD recently. Things really kicked off on June 3rd when RLUSD was officially recognized as a crypto token under the DFSA's regime in Dubai. Huge news. This positioned it as enterprise grade, compliant, and built for real utility, massively expanding its presence in the DIFC and across the UAE. And then just a few weeks later, on June 24th, we saw Aon and Ripple teaming up to bring XRP and RLUSD into real-world payments. This is massive. It opens up the possibility of reaching over 20 million merchants, including retail stores and restaurants. And in between all that, we even saw another big move with Alchemy Pay. Alchemy Pay just made a big move by adding RLUSD to their on-ramps and off-ramps, now available in 173 countries. How awesome is that? But that wasn't all. They quickly followed it up with more exciting news. For starters, Ripple is going all in by applying for a national bank charter from the OCC. What does this mean? It means Ripple USD reserves could soon be held directly with the Fed, adding an extra layer of security and future-proofing trust in RLUSD. Plus, it's a huge step forward for driving institutional adoption of RLUSD. And it doesn't stop there. On July 2nd, Ripple and OpenPay announced they're expanding access to fast, compliant cross-vendor payments. Ripple payments are now connected to OpenPay's real-time Euro and GBP rails, with direct RLUSD minting and burning. This means businesses can easily switch between fiat and stablecoins. Pretty seamless. Oh, and let's not forget the massive update from BitMEX. Big news. BitMEX has become the first exchange to allow RLUSD as margin on its derivatives trading platform. But that's not all. A minute bank just added RLUSD too. What's the big deal? Well, it's a bank. Partnering with Ripple, a minute bank now offers a secure, regulated, and seamless way to custody and trade RLUSD. It's perfect for both institutions and individuals who want clarity, compliance, and control. RLUSD has been getting a ton of attention recently, and we've seen its growth skyrocket over the past month. Volume and value continue climbing, putting RLUSD in the spotlight. It all takes me back to something Brad Garlinghouse said earlier this year on March 19th. It feels like we're seeing his vision come to life. He mentioned that he expects RLUSD to rank among the top 5 stablecoins by the end of the year, and also sees big growth coming for the stablecoin market overall. If that's the plan for RLUSD, then the goal is clear, getting it into the top 5 by year's end. Just to put things into perspective, RLUSD currently has about 470 million tied to it. To break into the top 5, we're talking about hitting 4.6 billion. What's a big leap, but with 5 months to go, there's plenty of time to make it happen. RLUSD has a lot of growth ahead, and now's the time to ramp up the momentum and volume to hit that milestone.
If you think about the next forefront of stablecoins, now that the U.S. is getting toward clarity, what's possible?
Well, again, I think we're underestimating how big that might get. You know, today that market's about $230 billion. So I think some smart people think that may go up 10x in the next 5 years. I think that's probably right. I mean, the two leading players in Tether as well as USDC are both, I think, poised to do well in that market. Ripple launched our own stablecoin at the end of last year. That's already ahead of our own internal forecasts in terms of where we are at this point in the year. Still, we're small, but the goal is by the end of the year for RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, to be one of the top 5 in the market by the end of the year. And I think the whole market's going to grow dramatically over this year.
So what does it take you to get there? Who are you pairing up with? Are you creating some financial partnerships in order to make RLUSD more of a household name?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even today we had more listings go live for RLUSD on some global crypto exchanges. Anytime you do something new, it takes a minute for that kind of, the pun of the ripple effect of seeing how that plays out. And so we're seeing that happen in real time. So I'm really pleased. And again, as I said, we're ahead of our Q1 forecasts of where we expect it to be. So we feel really good about that progress.
All the moves I just talked about, they're all paving the way for RLUSD adoption to grow and accelerate. That's exactly what will put RLUSD on track to becoming a top 5 stablecoin. Right now, most of RLUSD's value is centered on Ethereum, but I think that's going to change in a big way. It'll take some time, but honestly, I couldn't be more excited about what's ahead. And let's talk about the big players here. Confirmation from groups like the Fed or even the US government. Hearing from people like Scott Bessent that stablecoins will play a key role in supporting the US dollar. That's massive. It's proof that stablecoins aren't slowing down anytime soon. They're only going to keep growing and scaling up in a huge way. This is something everyone in this space should keep an eye on. It's going to have a big impact on the underlying networks in the best way possible. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more free content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.